A remote ranch in Brenham is as close as a 9.5-year-old boy ever gets to school.
I would if I could.
But C.J. Heron can't go to school because he got too early a start. Born premature, at 2 pounds 2 ounces, his health problems lingered, leaving him with a compromised immune system. A cold, a scrape, an elementary school sneeze could prove disastrous. So he stays home.
Not being able to see your friends.
And thinks about what he's missing.
Because I know pretty much every one of them.
But at Brenham Elementary,
CJ is about to arrive.
CJ made it to the 3rd grade for the first time today.
Hi, CJ!
The newest Texas student to arrive at school by computer.
My red and green.
A Vigo robot he controls from the kitchen table miles away at his grandparents' Brenham home. He can take part in classroom discussions, visit with all those friends he's been missing, and even spin a few donuts in the hall.
My favorite thing is when they're just all cheering for me.
How does it make you feel when they cheer for you?
Alive.
And that chance to feel alive is enough to make a mom cry.
It's more than just going to school. It's him growing up and getting friends and being a little 9-year-old boy.
Same emotions from a grandfather who's been by his grandson's side since day one.
CJ has a special place in my heart because of all he's been through. And I'm just so grateful to everyone.
And CJ is grateful because he can also give his robot a nickname. It's on its shirt, the Blue Deuce.
Keselowski wins it over.
This kid is a NASCAR fan and his favorite driver is Brad Keselowski, number 2.
Well, it makes sense because I was 2 pounds 2 ounces and my favorite race car driver drives the number 2. They'd be coming in and goes, oh, there he is, Blue Deuce.
For now, the somewhat slower Blue Deuce will run the hallways at Brenham Elementary, sit side by side with his 3rd grade classmates in the front row. What do you think now? How fun is this?
Pretty fun.
A robot, a lifeline for a little kid until he's healthy enough to get back into the race in person.
Okay, logging off in 3, 2, 1.
CJ has left the building.
In Brenham, Kevin Reece, KHOU 11 News. In the last 30 seconds, it looks like this. We now have rain and more hail falling here in Moore, Oklahoma. We'll get out of the way in a minute, but at the moment I'm standing in a debris field a quarter mile away from the nearest demolished home. We are here because police moved us back so that they could continue their searching operations. They believe there may be more victims out there. But before all of this mess started again, we did reach several of these neighborhoods where we found survivors who were lucky for just one thing, lucky that they're alive at all. We toured the hardest hit areas this morning, the blocks after blocks of homes that looked like they were flattened by bulldozers or bombs. The remnants of the Plaza Towers Elementary School, the ravaged Moore Medical Center, now a crushed car holding yard. But by daylight, there was so much more. This is the Stone Meadows subdivision, and it's hard to describe, but by comparison, this is one of the least damaged neighborhoods on the edge of the tornado's path. Even here you can find survivors like Stacy and Lisa McDaniel. Their roof is gone, the house a total loss, but they survived, huddled with their dog in this bedroom closet.
About the only room left standing.
Grace of God, we was in the closet. It just, I don't know.
Even here at the so-called edge of the tornado, houses are piles of sticks and bricks. Vehicles, if still upright, are impaled by debris. And in all this rubble, all this pain, you can also find survivors' guilt.
I'm overwhelmed. I'm devastated.
Even when Katrina Eastwood's roof is sitting on the house next door.
Son rode the storm out in our house, and I know their parents went to bed last night without their kids, and it's heartbreaking.
The tears are flowing readily in Moore, Oklahoma, but even a woman lingering inside her house that could collapse on her at any moment feels fortunate.
We survived it.
That is the only victory anyone can claim in Moore, Oklahoma today. And back here in Moore, Oklahoma, this latest rain squall is Getting a little bit lighter at the moment, but more of this to come, and this is what rescuers are dealing with right now as they continue to go home to home looking for additional victims. They do believe they will find more. They have so many houses to search. And about this debris field here, we found everything, including items like this. If we can zoom in, you can see it real close. A picture of a toddler. Bits and pieces of stuff like this everywhere throughout Moore, Oklahoma today. This is what folks are finding miles and miles away. Back to you guys.
Kevin, the size of this just boggles the mind, and we're hearing that this tornado may have been as big as 2 miles wide. What are they saying on the ground about that?
They're not saying a lot about that to us here, but we can tell you we have driven the entire perimeter of it on this side of I-35. We are right now on the west side of I-35. Those of you who might be familiar with it, the vast majority of the damage that you saw in our story stretches from west to east this direction, headed directly across I-35, easily 2 miles wide at this point. That's the edge right over there on the southern side. We went on the other side as well. Easily stretches 2 miles at its worst. And in the middle at Plaza Towers Elementary School, all of the homes around that, the ones easily damaged the worst. That is where they're continuing to search, looking to see if there will indeed be more victims and if the fatality count here is going to go up.
How you doing?
It's a crumbling 100-year-old house in one of Houston's poorest neighborhoods, and inside,
so we had to put off the heart surgery.
A woman whose life has been crumbling too.
Then they finally told me I had breast cancer again, because this is my second time.
Cancer, open heart surgery, lupus, and now living on Social Security, and now one other problem.
They say there's thousands of bees back there.
Bees inside her walls with only a paper-thin barrier keeping them out.
You hear them in there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can hear them.
Which is where Claude Griffin comes in. He heard about Peggy Barfield and offered to come to her rescue for free.
They're to the point if she was to actually fall down, or maybe, or what, her little walker, if it was to poke a hole in there, she would be one dead woman. But today is her special day.
Before he tore into the wall, he guessed he'd find thousands inside. He guessed right. And then when he opened up the side of the house, it is as bad as he thought, or maybe even worse. And a honeycomb floor to ceiling, 3 layers deep. He saves as many as he can, but admits this assignment wasn't so much about saving bees as it was saving an ailing woman.
It is beyond belief. Appreciation is not even a big enough word for me to offer out. He has a big personality and a big heart to match.
More than she knew, actually.
Knock, knock.
Because Claude wanted to do one more thing. This is Valentine's Day, after all.
So sweet.
And he thought Peggy deserved flowers and a box of candy, too.
It's all good, hon. It's all good. This is your day.
A good day for a good cry, a kind gesture, and a few less bees. Kevin Reece, KHOU, 11 News.
Senator Kevin Reece was the first reporter on the scene. He joins us live with more details. Kevin?
And if you've seen the video of that final foot chase, this is where that happened, here at the intersection of Glenarm and Shotwell, where this guy was finally tackled by police. We don't know what goes through someone's mind when they think they have a chance to actually escape from police, but this guy was among that not-so-select group of people who thought he had the chance to get away. The chase started at 288 in Alameda. A man police say they wanted to pull over just because he left his city park at a high rate of speed. But he didn't stop, and the chase was on. He raced away in a 2001 Pontiac Aztek on freeways and on side streets, cutting through parking lots, cutting through grass fields, narrowly missing police cars several times. Then, when he reached this neighborhood in northeast Houston, he did this. He raced on top of the railroad tracks, bouncing along with his car listing sideways, anything, trying to get away. Then he finally reached a set of tracks he couldn't cross. He jumped out and raced away on foot. He made it about 2 blocks until officers cornered him, and the tool of choice was a taser, and it worked. They brought him under control. Then when we reached him on the ground as medics were untangling the taser wires from his back, he revealed his reason for running. He had outstanding traffic tickets he didn't want to pay, and he was worried he would be taken to jail.
Not only the officers himself, but everybody else on the road.
and I mean everybody.
All he has told police is that he did this because he had traffic tickets. He didn't want to get caught. What do you think of a guy who does that?
That's dumb. Now he's going to face more charges.
He should be incarcerated. Yeah, he could have hurt a little kid. He could have hit somebody.
Hey man, why'd you do this? Why'd you do this? Because you had tickets? And then at the end of all this, he's apparently somebody's dad. Police pulled a stroller out of the back seat before they towed the car away. Police have not yet identified this suspect yet, but he is now in the Harris County Jail. And to add to his problems of traffic tickets, he now faces charges, felony charges of evading police, adding that to the troubles he thought he had at the start of the day. Live in Northeast Houston, I'm Kevin Reece, KHOU 11 News. Inside a home in Richmond, fully decorated for Halloween, the first thing you notice about Mauricia Sauer,
everybody calls me Reece,
is that she is not well.
I have COPD, lightest mutation, factor 5.
But her Halloween shirt also tells you this is a woman clinging to life and to a sense of humor.
I'm good, I'm alive. I mean, every day I wake up, that's a good thing.
She's been told by doctors that congestive heart failure will take her soon, a death sentence, but a sentence she's not facing alone.
And just trying to struggle through it.
Her husband Johnny is by her side, and so is a list.
Slow dance with Johnny again.
A handwritten bucket list.
If you read the list, there's nothing grandiose on the list.
A list devoted mostly to reconciling with God and with her family and friends. But then there's item number 6, dinner from Red Lobster. The restaurant delivered it in person. A simple request with a not so simple meaning.
The first time he told me I love you, he took me to Red Lobster. So I just wanted to try and recapture that. And we did. It was nice.
Mauricia got that at-home dinner with the help of Silverado Hospice, the agency providing her in-home care. But the biggest item on the list would be a much taller order, the fancy church wedding she never had.
And I'm going to live to do it, too.
And that's what was meaningful to her. And when we hear that, it's like, let me find a way to make that happen.
And it will happen at the KHOU Cathedral of the Sacred Heart. Special meaning for a Catholic whose own heart is failing her.
He's going to be teary-eyed. I'm going to be teary-eyed. I can go to my grave knowing it was a real marriage, not just a JP.
Silverado Hospice suggests to their patients that they make a bucket list to have something to live for, to drain every minute out of every day.
If you can still move about, do it. Because if you don't, it's just a day you've missed, a regret that's going to be on your list. And I don't want regrets on my list.
A dying woman's last wish and worthy advice for the rest of us too. In Richmond, Kevin Reece, KHOU 11 News.
This is my Halloween costume.
At Halloween, we met a woman in Richmond, a woman dying.
Everybody calls me Reece.
Mauricia Sauer has a fatal heart condition. She's been told she has months, not years.
I'm alive. I mean, every day I wake up, that's a good thing.
And in these final days, she made a bucket list.
Slow dance with Johnny again.
A handwritten list of the last moments she and her husband Johnny hoped to share, including the big church wedding they never had.
And I'm going to live to do it, too.
Saturday, she did live to see it.
May your blessings be upon them eternally.
The KHOU Cathedral of the Sacred Heart, the biggest Catholic sanctuary in Houston.
Will you love, honor each other as man and wife for the rest of your lives?
Yes, we will.
Yes, we will.
When people heard Mauricia's story, they helped this last dream come true. A hairdresser, a florist, a photographer, all donated their time.
I, John.
Take you, Mauricia.
Take you, Mauricia.
To be my wife.
To be my wife.
Silverado Hospice made the rest of the arrangements.
In good times and in bad.
In sickness and in health.
In sickness and in health.
So that a woman in failing health could live her dreams at least one more day.
I will love you and honor you
all the days of my life.
all the days of my life. Everything I've been waiting on, and I'm just happy it's here.
You may kiss the bride.
I love you.
I love you.
When we first met Mauricia, her advice to the rest of us was to never waste a minute. Live every day like it is your last.
Oh, it's phenomenal. That's my bucket list. It's great.
And that's the last lesson she left us as she walked down the aisle. Her pastor told her love is eternal, but walk with purpose, knowing our time in life's aisle is not. Kevin Reece, KHOU 11 News.